Did You Know presents. Doctors dismissed this girl's agony as growing pains, but an X-ray prompted a far worse diagnosis. When Abri Bentley awoke to scream in her sleep, her mother was, of course, concerned her mind was put at rest. However, when doctors confirmed that the pains in her daughter's leg were simply growing pains, but after Abrey's discomfort showed no sign of abating, a biopsy revealed a terrible diagnosis. Abre comes from Scottsdale, Arizona, and lives with her mom, Nicole, her dad, Rod, and her sisters, Ashley and Arya. Now back to the story. Indeed, Abre's favorite thing to do is dance and perform on stage. "I always danced when I was little," she later told Phoenix News Channel KPNX. And like many kids her age, Abrey often complained of growing pains. So when she awoke one day with an aching leg, her parents put the blame on that. However, this twin seemed different from the others. In fact, the shooting pain had been so sharp that it awoke April from her slumber. The little girl then seemed to be in agony, and soon tears began flowing down her face. Because of this, Mom, Nicole rushed her to an emergency room just to be sure she was okay. When they got there, however, doctors reassured the concerned mom that there was nothing for her to be worried about. They further insisted that Abrey's discomfort was nothing more than growing pain. So Nicole took her daughter back home. But as time passed, Emery's pain didn't diminish, and deep down, her family felt that something was wrong. So they decided to seek out a second medical opinion at Phoenix Children's Hospital. Doctors decided to carry out a biopsy, and nothing could have prepared her family for what would reveal. Because when the results came back, the doctors diagnosed Abre with an aggressive type of bone cancer known as Ewing sarcoma. While it is rare, Ewing sarcoma usually affects children and young people. And every year, around 200 young Americans will find themselves battling the disease. In many cases, though it is curable, there are, in fact, a number of different treatments for the disease, depending on how it's progressed. For example, courses of chemotherapy and radiation can kill cancer cells in the body. Alternatively, in some cases, surgery is required to remove the tumor or even amputate the affected area. To treat a breast illness, she endured 6 grueling bouts of chemotherapy. As a result, she had to think about things no 7-year-old should ever have to worry about. They said, "I was going to lose my hair," they said. Despite everything, though, Abre somehow managed to stay strong. Her parents, on the other hand, had a tough time watching their child suffer, and the memory of their daughter's struggle will live with them forever. We can never forget the horror of watching our little girl become skin and bones with gray skin and black and blue eyes, Nicole told Today. Holding her while she cried as her beautiful, long golden hair fell out in clumps on the floor. Our ears can never forget the screams while she begged us to help. Every time the needle was shoved in her chest, and at the beginning of every treatment, and with every blood drawn. And even after Abre had completed her chemo, she found her struggles weren't over. Indeed, although her tumor had gone, it had left Abre with a hole in her leg, and doctors had no other option than to remove it. But rather than leaving Abre to rely on a prosthesis, talented surgeons crafted a tibia from a donated adult arm bone, blending the words arm and leg. After the operation, Abby had to learn how to walk again, but she still wanted to achieve more. So, alongside her mom, she began visiting other families dealing with childhood cancer, and it soon became clear that Abre was a natural when it came to helping other kids feel better. Now, Abre raises awareness of childhood cancers, and she and her family want the government to give more funds to treating and researching the illness. Period. Abrey's mom told KPNX. It's not going away. If people aren't willing to talk about it, the adults get all the money, a passionate Abby added. And when they get all the money, they get to live. The kids don't get the money. They don't get to be grown up. So it's not that fair. Abrey is so impassioned about her fight against pediatric cancers that she's even sent a call to action to President Donald Trump. Congratulations, you beat the odds. Please help us beat the odds against childhood cancer too, she said in an emotional video. Some of us die from the effects of chemo. It's just too much for little bodies. It's just not okay. So while no child should have to go through the same thing as Abrey, she has managed to use her ordeal positively. Yes,